Black Politicians TV, man. Who we got with us today?
Yeah, your boy from day one, Kane Banner.
How you doing today, my brother?
Man, it's good. Good to see you. I ain't seen you fucking forever, so it's really good to see you. Wait, can I cuss on your podcast?
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay,
good,
good.
bro. I mean, you a doctor.
I was like, let me not censor myself.
You can do anything, man. You good, bro. So, bro, I always start everybody off, bro. Like, what you eat today, man?
Man, so dang, you gonna ask me on the one day I did terrible. So I got this morning, made me some cinnamon rolls. So anybody that's one of my patients, don't follow this. I got me some cinnamon rolls early this morning. And then there's this Chinese spot I love over there on 41 called Ming Moon 2 beside the Food Line.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and got me some fried chicken and fries. And then when I leave here, I'm probably going to go. I was going to hit Pleasant Pizza, but then they closed today. I'm going to find something I can only eat in Lumberton. Maybe Highway 55. I don't know yet.
Oh, yeah, man. Highway 55 is
That's
still a slap.
that's my shit, bro.
So, bro, we're just going to, like, take it all the way back, bro. So, where are you from?
Where I'm from, where I spent most of my time. It's two different answers.
We can start where you from, and then we'll just move forward.
All right, so originally I'm from Lenore, North Carolina. It's up near Hickory, right below Boone. Like Boone's on top of the mountain, Lenore's at the bottom. That's where I was born and raised till I was 7 years old. And then after that, moved to Lumberton, and then that's where I've been ever since.
Facts. So, like, growing up, like, how was it? Like, what was your like earliest childhood memory, like of your childhood?
Man, so my early childhood memory. So as I was saying, I was born in Lenore. Earliest childhood memory. So I lived with my mom at the time. So it was me, my sister, my older cousin. We lived with my grandmother, my grandfather. Mom working, dad's off doing school, trying to make it himself. They had me young, so those are the earliest memories I have. I mean, I'd have like I guess you say like a typical childhood, you know.
So your dad, like you're growing up, like in your earlier years, you said like he was off in school and playing sports.
Yeah, so my parents had me right out of high school. Actually, my mom got pregnant. I'm pretty sure while she was still in high school. So my dad right out he got recruited for football. He went to Winston State. Then he transferred to ECU. So I mean, there's memory like there's really pictures of me being like a little kid, at his later years at ECU going to the football games and stuff. Um,
So basically, all this is going to come together, right?
that's coming together. That's coming. It's coming when we get a little deeper in.
Your dad, like usually when people have like kids young or have kids like unexpectedly or even in high school, a lot of people just think that I just need to work, work, work. I can't figure this out. But like y'all had a plan, and your dad said, I'm still going to finish school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to figure this out because my son gonna be
he gonna be an
NFL player or a doctor. Man, both of those, you feel me?
Nah, for real. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my grandmother on both sides. But I actually just found this story out not too long ago. So when my dad had me straight out of high school, like before he went to college, my grandmother on his side made him work for the whole summer. She was like, you're not gonna abandon your kid. So she actually made him work the whole summer. He thought he was gonna get to go to college, and it was like maybe a week or two, a couple weeks before he was supposed to report. She sat him down, basically telling him, you could live this whole life. You could live your life like this your entire life, where you're struggling to provide for your child. She was like, but she said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure all his needs are taken care of. You go off to school, do something with your life, and she was like, basically, I'm going to help you pay for everything the whole way through. So he was able to go get his education and everything. But what's really big for him is, especially being a black male. Y'all see I'm light skinned. My dad's full black, but he actually few and far. So obviously they gave my mom custody. So one thing I do like shout out for my dad, like he went to court and fought for custody of me. Like he didn't just let the 50-50 share custody get me on the weekend and stuff. Nah, so he went and fought for full custody. That's something he always did.
So what age did he get full custody of you?
So that's when I said I was right. So when I was 7, right before I turned 8, second to third grade, that's when he got custody, and that's why I moved. That's actually what moved me down to Lumberton was he finally got custody of me.
So when he brought you down here, was it love or was it straight football?
Nah, so it's funny you say. I mean, it's a lot. It was straight love, but it was so
Yeah, you know,
You know my
I'm just
I
playing
know
around.
I know man. So you know my background. So you know he's had me doing football since I was 3, even before he had me himself. Like I went and saw him. We doing drills. But now it was actually transition was you're not supposed to uproot a kid, especially at 7 years old. You're not supposed to uproot their life. You know, it can cause like a lot of like long term
Yeah, trauma.
mental things. So it's actually funny you say that. Well, I'm saying that because they say that there might be something like mentally up there that don't click right because I didn't respond to the mood the way I was supposed to. You know, it's supposed to like affect you in certain ways, and they always waited for like the ball to drop or like the trauma to start showing through, and it just never did. But they don't know why. They just said like it wasn't a normal reaction for me.
So, was you doing it for him, or was you like doing the football for you?
There's definitely. Yeah, I think that goes like on both sides, where it's like I think every father wants to see their son follow their footsteps, but every son wants to be like their dad. So football has always been the only thing I've ever known. So even it's hard to say if it was for him or for me because at a certain age, that's just what you know. So it just becomes what you do. At some point, you fall in love with it.
So, like, do you think because your dad was like what you call like a player coach, not a player coach, but like a coach dad?
Yeah.
So, do you feel like your dad started you over other people just because you was his son, or did you earn that spot?
No, I definitely earned that spot. So my dad actually never coached me as my coach until high school,
Oh, okay.
but he just trained me. That's so.
Well, he was always on the sideline,
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
you
saying.
thought
So
he was the coach.
so that's what's actually crazy. But a lot of people going home. Now he asked me from a young age if this is what I wanted. So a lot of it, like real talk, was um, getting. We had a long conversation. He asked me about what I wanted out of life. Is what football was for me. And the moment I told him football was my dream, like late nights we get home from school, he got home from work. Well, as I'm saying, well, a lot of people don't even know. We in the backyard throwing. I had to do 200 throws a day, 200 perfect throws a day, every single day.
But what age is that when he asked you what you wanted out of
I
life?
start I started that at 10.
At 10, he asked you what you want out of life.
If I wanted football, yeah.
That's dope.
So that's what I'm saying. I think he's the first person I've ever told that. You asked him. So starting at 10 years old, backyard. He played college football, played arena, did a little bit in professional. So he knew, like he's known what it took. So we would map out my route tree in the backyard, and it was 100 throws each side. It had to be perfect before they would count. We did that every single day. And then on top of that, when the days he couldn't be there, he's busy. He bought me this giant net that had like different spots on it, and I had to get at least 100 throws in, hitting the different spots. So it wasn't as much as him giving me the thing, but it's like he gave me the tools and the knowledge that I'd say 99% of kids don't have. Whereas a lot of people go out there like just trying they go to practice and that's it, or like they start training. I'm training football all year round, even though I was in other sports. So even basketball season, baseball season, track season, still that night I had to go get my 100 throws in.
Definitely. So as you transition to like seventh, eighth grade,
Yeah.
like you moved back with your mom for a little bit.
Yeah, so he was head coaching at St. Paul's at the time. And they're going really deep in the playoffs. They're doing really good. He got offered the head coaching job at his old high school, and good opportunity for him. But the main thing was, so when he was there playing high school, they were a great football team. But now they suck, like they're terrible. So they were bringing him in to try and turn the program around. So he was going up there. So I just moved with him. And my mom never left our hometown, so I just spent a lot of time with my mom at the time.
Oh, so they was in the same
Same
city.
city, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how did he end up turning that team around or?
Yeah, so no, long answer, no. We were on the right track. Like so I played my freshman season up there. My freshman team, we actually won more games than any other freshman team before us. He was getting people to come back to the school. It was on the right trajectory, but my stepmom never got a job up there, and never sold the house that was down here. And, long story, like just to like sum it all up, it's hard for a man to be away from his wife for too long. That had been a year and a half, 2 years at that point. He just couldn't do it no more. So he just I mean, there's some more nuances, but that's a long story short. He pulled us back down here.
So when you came back to Lumberton, like how was it? Like your freshman year, you back in Lumberton. Like how was it?
Man, my first year back here was actually very rough. It was a hard year for me. That was I'm coming off of for the first time since I'm a child getting to be around my mom every day. I hadn't had that since I was 7 years old. So coming back. That was on one thing. Two, I left right at seventh grade. That's when everybody forming. So I mean, you know how it was raised. So everybody went from elementary to care middle. You start building your cliques. Then we went from care middle to the junior high. That's when everybody's finding a group of who they've been with. And then I left right when everybody's transitioning into high school, and then had to try to reincorporate. But at that time, it was like all my friends that were there, like, yeah, y'all still was my niggas, but everybody was like kind of like in different spots doing different things. So it was kind of hard, like trying to figure out who I'm hanging out with, what I'm doing. And it really seems like from the time of seventh grade ends to halfway through your freshman year, like bonds get stronger. And I wasn't there with those bonds getting stronger. That's like I was saying. So like I remember this because that's when I left. Cause, I still talk to people on the phone. But at the junior high, you remember everybody was forming them gangs and like them like gang words they would have like up in the stairway. I wasn't there for that, so it was like there was a lot of stuff happening that I wasn't getting to be involved in. So when I came back, one that makes me laugh all the time is Cedric, right? So when I left, Cedric was still Daquan. Yeah. And when he sees this, he's gonna be so mad because I said Daquan. He hates when I use that name. When I came back, he's Cedric, and I was like, first of all, you're gonna be Daquan. I was like, I'm not leaving. I come back and you change your name. But just started getting nicknames. That's why it was a whole different vibe. So it was kind of like it was hard to reincorporate to the same niggas who I've grown up with my whole life. It was like trying to like start fresh with people I've known for at that time 13, 14 years. So it's weird being new and old at the same time.
Definitely. So like, did you play football that year?
Not at Lumberton. I played football at my dad. I actually went to three high schools. So I played football at the high school that we were turning around. I came halfway through basketball season, right at the tail end of basketball season.
And did you play basketball that year?
Yeah.
And freshman, JV, or?
JV. I was on JV till my junior year.
So, like, did you have a better love for basketball or football in
high school? It's always been football. I was good at both, but it's the love for football started from a little kid. But what really helped is, as you remember, I used to be short. So I was. What people don't believe me all the time is when I started high school, I was only 5'3". I was 5'3", 100 pounds, and then but from freshman year till junior year, I went from 5'3" to 6'2". So that's why it's like it was a weird.
From freshman year to junior year, you went from 5'3" to 6'2". That is a crazy.
Yeah, almost a whole foot.
Yeah,
and so life gets really different.
Treating you a little different.
Everybody starts treating you different. But that's what I'm saying. Like because I want to say sophomore year, I was still like 5 something, but that's why when I was still growing. But that's why I also when I transferred to St. Paul's. So I finished my growth. I mean, like people saw me getting tall. Like they started seeing the beginning, but I left and I was only like 5'8" maybe. So then like next time I was seeing a bunch of y'all was 6. That's when I was like 6'1", 6'2". Y'all, everybody was like, "Kane, what the fuck happened?"
Damn, what the fuck did happen? Because as soon as you got big, your dad said, "Come back to my school," and you could have brought us a championship, but you left.
And see, that's what's crazy because I was with. So I'm glad you asked. So you remember Marquez Norton?
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be a good pairing because Quez played quarterback at Lumberton, but he wasn't a quarterback; he was a receiver. So anybody that don't know, Quez ended up playing wide receiver at Tennessee. Then he went. He made the league for a little bit, but he had some injuries. Anyways, so it was gonna be a good opportunity for me. But Lumberton at the time they ran a wing T, and as a quarterback, you can't get recruited in the wing T. You got to throw the ball. So the only school in the county at the time that was really throwing the ball like that was St. Paul's. And even though when I went there, they still weren't throwing the ball, but it was better than the wing T. So that's why I ended up transferring. And then right when I left, because I was trying to get a bunch of people that played football with me to transfer with me, but obviously none of them niggas did. But then Quez went to where'd he go? Mallard Creek. But
he went to Mallard Creek. He left too.
I say, but that's long story short. So that's why I went to St. Paul.
Quez would have stayed.
I can't say Quez was going.
Quez would have stayed, and then, bro.
If Quez would have,
you still had D-Rob in the back end.
D-Rob, they had Smurf.
And you still had Allen.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Man, I said we had a bunch of people, but it's like when everybody was there at the time. You asked me, I was still 5. I wasn't a prospect.
You made Marquez North leave, bro.
But here's what's crazy. I don't think. Here's what's crazy about Quez. I still don't think Quez knew I hit a growth spurt. Quez, last time Quez saw me and we talked, I'm only 5'8".
So when people was talking about you, he probably was
He
like,
was
"That's a
already
short
he was
quarterback."
he
Oh,
was
he already
already
gone.
gone. That's
Oh,
what,
okay.
so like that's what I'm saying. I left. This is sophomore year. He started quarterback on varsity because we ain't had nobody. That's when I started hitting that crazy. Right by the time I became a prospect, Quez was already gone.
Mm.
But that's what I'm saying. It could have worked out to the point where like we had like 4 or 5 prospects on the same team. But by the time I became a prospect, he'd already left.
You and D-Rob, bro.
I'm saying that Lumberton, if Lumberton does nothing else, it has athletes.
Hey, but Jazz held it down though.
Yeah.
Jazz held it down though. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah,
Jazz
yeah.
held it down.
Jazz is my dog too.
Jazz is my guy. Jazz held it down.
And the Jazz is another person I ain't seen in like 10 years. That's another one.
We missed the reunion. You didn't go to the reunion.
So I was like,
you was safe. Look,
that's the thing.
dog,
I was gonna go to. I was actually gonna go to the reunion. I paid for it and everything. But now that I'm in med school, like my schedule's not my own. So like the week that the reunion happened, I got told I had to work that weekend, so I couldn't go.
So yeah, we gonna slow it down. We gonna get.
I'm doing a lot of jumping, but yeah, that's what happened with the reunion.
So, like, what was your best game when you was playing for St. Paul's?
My best game
when your dad looked at you and was like, "That's my boy." Like it.
So
kiss on the forehead, but like that's my boy. My boy.
So obviously, I mean, I had a lot of good games, but I could argue which one my best. I think my personal best game was against Reedsville my senior year. It's my last game I ever played in high school. We went second or third round of playoffs. I don't know if you know about Reedsville, but Reedsville's won the state like 17 times. So they're a crazy good team. But so against them, they had shut down every quarterback they had played against that year. I threw for over 300 yards, ran for over 100 yards. I threw for 3 touchdowns. Basically, them niggas couldn't touch me. But that was a game. It was like, don't get me wrong. They still beat us bad because we had no defense. But at the end of the day, it's like there was nothing else I could have done. And even after the game, it was like I'm crying. It was my last game ever. My dad was like, "That's how you play." He's like, "That's how you play quarterback." So I think that by far was my. And it was like there was.
When did he tell you that? You in the car? You at the house?
So yeah, it was when we got home that day because it was actually so. If you might want to laugh, I was 23 yards away from running for 1,000 my senior year. The reason I know it specifically is because, or was it 13? It's either 23 or 13. I might just lie. It's 23 or 13 yards. Anyways, my coach, because my dad wasn't my head coach, he was just a position coach.
I told you he always been there.
Yeah, he'd been there. But
he always was somewhere around, and you was there, so everybody always thought he was your coach.
That's what I'm saying. But so the head coach at the time, because I'm saying we were getting beat, like, and we ain't had 1,000-yard rushing quarterback in a long time, but they basically said they knew I was going to go play college football because I'd already getting recruited and everything. Long story short, they were like, "You're going to get to play more." There's some people on this team who are never going to play football again, so they should get a chance to play. So they literally pulled me out the game with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so I didn't get my 1,000 yards. I was like 23 yards from it. Yeah. I started crying. Well, to answer your question, so I started crying from then. So it wasn't for just realizing that it was all over. So I was crying. Pops tried to console me on the sidelines. I didn't want to hear it. Long bus ride back. But that night, that night after I calmed down a little bit, we talked about the game, and that's when he's like, that's when he told me like, that's how you play quarterback right there.
That's crazy, bro. So you go. I mean, before we go there, you've seen a lot of athletes like in high school, middle school, but you had something that a lot of people didn't have,
right?
And did you see the importance of like your father, a black father, like being present, fighting for you,
bro?
Making sure like. Have you ever like appreciated that in your childhood? Like I know you appreciate it as an adult.
Right.
As in the present of being a child, did you ever like take a step back and just like, hey?
It's funny you ask that because at no point in time have I ever been the best athlete on any of my teams, ever. So let's take it way back. Let's take it to freshman year. You don't know these dudes up in the mountains. I had a dude named Jordan Williams, Robert Caldwell, Aaron Rowe, stud athletes. They ended up not going. Sophomore year, that's when I'm back in Lumberton playing. I got Alan Thompson on the team. I got D-Rob on the team. I got Smurf on the team. I got Frankie on the team. All people who are better athletes than me, but just different paths. And like and some of them like did go play college ball, but it was a different type of college ball. But it was like no fault of theirs. It just I had that my dad played college ball, so he knew a little more about the path to go, how to get there than they did. Junior year, I had Antonio Henderson, and still to this day, Antonio is the fastest person I've ever played a sport with. But he also he didn't really have the guidance. And then senior year, I had a dude named Jamel Leonard in St. Paul. Rest in peace, Jamel. But I was saying he's probably the best overall athlete I've ever played with. But things just didn't work out for him. But so, like to answer your question fully, I was never the top athlete on a team on a high school, college team I played on. But it's like I always had extra guidance that they didn't have. I had,
extra morale.
And it's like, I didn't see it at the time because I'm a little kid. That's not the type of things you look for. But it's like as you were saying like earlier, a lot of our friends growing up would always gravitate towards my house, like coming over with the fam, and you can like looking back, you can really see it was like there was so many like little black boys who wanted that father. Like now, don't get me wrong, my dad pissed me off more times than not throughout life because he was hard on me. Like but he gave me a type of guidance other people didn't have, and he's hard on all his players. But what I've noticed like especially the kids that don't have dads, they really gravitate towards it because you can tell that like little black boys want that guidance. They just ain't got it.
Because even when like just me playing in a couple, I played JV basketball, shit, ran track,
Yeah.
but even in those, I don't remember my stepfather being there. Like,
Right.
a lot of times, like he was a good stepfather, but when it comes to your athleticism and anything you believe in, you need them there. Like the mama gonna be there off rip.
Right.
Like
Facts.
from whatever sport
Facts.
we play, you go out there, you see all the proud mamas, but we never see like you know what I'm saying? Like us as this new generation, we getting into it because
Right.
we understand how important it is. That's why like a lot of us who was introduced to sports and stuff, we understand how important the father being.
No, facts.
Like, but your situation, you had it set.
And even on top of that, so this is going back to LFA days. I was sent behind this I can't remember his name. His name was Joseph. Damn, that's crazy. I just remember his name. I was a backup quarterback with a dude named Joseph. Well, we played against the Demon Deacons. We ever tried to play with the Demon Deacons early in the year, and that they had Saquon, Montrez, um, what's Allen's older brother name? Allen, not Allen.
You talking about
What car? Well, not
Carmichael.
Is Allen Carmichael? Yeah.
Allen Dwayne. Yeah.
But they had Allen. Basically, they had all. Everybody don't know.
On the wide receiver. They had Saquon as fullback. Saquon taking over.
So basically, I was saying for people that don't know, these are all people who look like grown men from the time we were in the 5th grade, and they were hitting. So the dude that I was a backup quarterback for,
Marte, recipes to Marte.
Well, Marte was on the yeah, bro. He was a linebacker. Yeah, bro. I forgot about Marte. I forgot about Marte, but Marte's on team. Yeah, recipes to him too. But all those names I said, dogs. You know what I'm saying? So the quarterback I'm backing up, this white dude, he gets scared and doesn't want to play. So I get my first start in tackle football because we were literally at the game before the game and we had already played them before, and he's like, I'm not playing. So they put me in, but my dad missed the game. And so from that moment, I got my first start. He's torn up about it because he got held up at practice. That he never missed a game after that. But he made a rule for all his coaches now. If your son is playing or if he's on a team, you don't have to ask him. You just go to your son's game. He was like, because he missed my first start. He said he'll never miss another game.
Well, that's some stand-up business.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like that's just the type of dad he's always been. Where like I think he was more upset that he missed that game. Now, don't get me wrong, I played terrible. Like they were, like all of them were dogs. They were dogs.
Come on, bro. We talking, bro.
I got sacked probably 20 times. But that's what I'm saying, like,
bro, we talking about Marcellus Sankey, and you said Allen Carmichael. So you got to think about the other people who probably was on that team too.
Right. I'm saying that's just ones. You got to remember that game was
Antonio Baker. Like Keno brother,
no, so Tonio Keno, they were on the blue. They were on a different team, but they were dogs.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so that type of game, we probably like what 4th, 5th grade. I'm 28, and I still remember who was hitting me. That game was burning in my head. It was burning in my head.
What? So, you go to Duke.
Yeah.
So what was those SAT scores like, or what was that mindset like? Because Everybody else was trying to go to NC State, Central, ECU.
Man,
I went to Fellow State.
so
Like
it's funny. It's funny you bring that up. So,
you went to Duke.
I actually, I start getting recruited.
Yeah.
I'm getting interest, and I actually, I ain't gonna say I lost my best friend at the time, but we kind of fell out. Because we both got recruited to go to Winston State. It was my best friend. I ain't gonna say his name. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't know.
QB.
So then it was gonna be, so here's what's crazy. They offered me and my running back at the time, my best friend in the world. Um, they offered us at the same time, and they was like, we're gonna keep y'all's backfield together. Y'all gonna come here and take over. Well, that was the plan. And getting older, I do kind of see like where I fucked up in this, but it was like, but then I started getting ACC schools to talk to me. Power Five, Carolina, Wake Forest, everybody. That's when like, I'm like, oh, I can go play like really big ball. Well, and where I fucked up, excuse me, I didn't even burp it like that. But anyways, where I fucked up was I didn't even tell. Mind you, me and my running back had already talked about it.
Yeah, bro, bro. You just did some snake shit, bro.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. So
y'all was supposed to take over at Winston Salem, bro, on some Rob Coach shit, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
That was your running back, bro. And you did he still end up going, bro? Tell me this story. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. A lot, I've apologized over the years, but that's what I'm saying. Like at the time, I'm 17, and Power Five school called me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I got to go Power Five. I got that's like the D1 type of ball you dream of playing. Long story short, though, so I was even before I had officially said I wasn't going, I was going to go to Wake. Actually, Wake was the team I was going to go play for. And Duke came in. Right, shout out to Coach Mo. I had a coach. I took my visit to Duke in basketball season. I met a dude named Scotty Montgomery. I don't know where he's at. I can't. He was the head coach for ECU for a while, but then he went to. I think he's the coach for the running back coach for the Colts right now, but I can't remember. Anyways, I meet him. He's gonna be the offensive coordinator. We sit down, and it's got my stepmom, my dad, and we're sitting there. We just met everybody. Had all these like long talks, long conversations. And we get to Coach Mo's office. He looks at me in my face, and he was like, he's asking where I'm thinking about going. And I'm just trying to tell him like schools. And I was like mentioning Wake and like thinking about Carolina, all that stuff. And he said, "Do you know where you're at right now?" And I was like, and that's a weird question. And I'm like, obviously I'm at Duke. He just looked at me and he said, I'm gonna say it like this. He said, "Mom, close your ears." He's like, "You're dumb as hell if you don't come here." And he just walked out. I was like, that's a crazy thing to say, but I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, dang, that's a crazy thing to say to me. But you start thinking about it, you like, I don't know, because they at Duke they preach this like it's a 40-year investment. It's not 4. What can a Duke degree do for you that these other schools can't? Which is a great point. Shout out to Duke. But long story short, that's the day I decided to go to Duke. But I didn't tell nobody. So got home. It's not so. It's like a couple months before I'm even supposed to decide, and it just slipped my mind. You just start living.
So pause. During this couple months while you're deciding, what is the communication like with your running back?
It wasn't there, bro. Like that's like it literally wasn't. Like I think we had both kind of.
Like when did he? Like I'm just saying, before he found out you wasn't going, what was the communication like?
There was never an explicit I wasn't going. But when, like I said, I was going to go to Wake. When I was going to go to Wake, when Wake would start recruiting me, I never looked at my running back and said I'm not going. And that's why I think we had like a little falling out. But it's like I started wearing a bunch of Wake gear. Like I was wearing stuff that you can only get on, like that you got at visits and stuff. And I'm like, it was obvious that like I wasn't feeling Winston State no more. My dad always has this joke. He's like, "Oh, when you came home from my visit, he was like, oh, how you say it? He's like I started growing horns. Cause I fell in love with Winston State. Is an amazing, like that atmosphere was something I'd never been around.
Yeah.
It was great having people that, one, like striving for a lot in life, and two, look like me. So I was like, bro, I'm loving this Winston Salem thing. And me and my running back, we loved it. We like at that day, we both, like we were talking about, we were like, we're going. And he went ahead and signed. I didn't sign because my dad was like, you're gonna have more options. He's like, don't commit yet. So I didn't commit. Sean went ahead and committed. And then later on, that's when these other places started like talking to me, offering me, and I started just wearing that. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I had in my mind, I had moved so far past Wake, not Wake, my bad, Winston in my mind, that like I never went to him and said explicitly that I wasn't going. But like that's what I'm saying. You could see it on me. Like I was wearing other school's gear that I was going. So then I had it's funny though. I mean, at the time I had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't even tell her where I was going. Cause I wanted to do the little signing day thing where it's like you had the hat and you pick one on. Like I mean, I did end up doing that, but it's like I had literally hadn't told nobody where I was gonna end up going. So that's like my recruitment story.
Damn. So you get the dude.
Well, one little tidbit that's interesting. Oregon was gonna offer me,
Damn.
but I was balling my senior year.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. I know you
So
could have went places, but I ain't know that you had
and
Oregon.
a lot of
And
people don't know
then
this because so for y'all don't know, I'm young for my grade, so I graduated when I was still 17.
so where your
Um,
birthday? I graduated 17
nine.
too.
I'm saying I'm already 9/11, so you know I'm way at September.
Oh,
Um,
well, how you go to school? Cause I graduated 17 too. My birthday in July.
yeah, so that's
So
what I'm
yeah, we
saying.
start. You
You
turn like
graduate and then
yeah,
you turn it. So
yeah,
I'm saying, you know, cause when we started, you can be like all the way up to October before the cutoff date
yeah.
was.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Um, yeah, so I was saying, so Oregon, I had a great senior year. I didn't have junior year take because I had separated this shoulder. So Oregon thought I was a junior because of my age.
Yeah.
So like they were going to recruit me. They were like going to fly out here and everything. And then they found out I was a senior and they only offered juniors. Like they had my head coach. My head coach had to break that news to me. I about cried. If Oregon would have came, I was out.
So man, you get the Duke, man. What is pandemonium like? What is it like performing in those stadiums? What is it like coming from Robinson County, perform like being at stadiums where maximum maybe 2,000 people a night, and
Yeah.
now you at the Blue Devils, and I know you were deaf. Like how did that? How was that?
You want me to tell you about the experience, or you want me to tell you about my football journey at Duke? Which one you want first?
Hey man, this is your world.
All right, we'll just do this. I'll do a quick football journey. So only thing I didn't like about Duke is when I got there, and I came as a quarterback. I'm not. I play quarterback. I never got my chance to play quarterback. They never gave me an actual shot. When I got there, there's a dude named Anthony Boone. Shout out to Boone, that's my dog. He wasn't getting his spot taken. He's like a 3-year starter. That was Boone's spot. Then we had a dude named Cirque who was like in line to be next up. So I spent my whole freshman year sitting like doing red shirting. But even in practices, I wasn't getting a shot. Like I never got a chance to play quarterback at Duke. So then I got like a couple reps in the practice, and I made some great throws. Made like this crazy like somebody hit me in my legs, and I like kept my balance, and, like juke somebody. It was like I was doing like, athletic things,
Yeah.
and it was like, look, you can just keep sitting on the bench and trying to fight for a spot. There's like, or you can move the receiver and go get some playing time. So, you know, ego of me was tired of sitting on the bench, so that's why I moved to receiver. The receiver's not my position. I had fun, got to play a little bit, got to start a few games, but that's why you end up seeing me at Fayetteville State because it was like you can come play quarterback again. And I graduated, so I was like, yeah, I'm out of here.
So
But yeah, to go back to your other question about how it is, man. College football, when you're in the pinnacle of like what college football is like the greatest experience. So I always talk about my couple favorite experiences I had. We went to my first time going to Virginia Tech to play. A lot of people don't know. So Virginia Tech Stadium is built in a way where the sound like is basically made so that the sound is amplified onto the field to the point where even like when you go before you go play Virginia Tech in the like practice facility, they buy these like huge speakers to like pump in noise so you can get used to playing without being able to hear. So Virginia Tech's best, like this thing they do on third down, that everybody takes their keys out and jingles them. It's so loud when the whole stadium jingles their keys. It sounds like somebody's got a cowbell in your ear just doing this. Like if we were at Virginia Tech in the middle of a game on the field, no, in the stadium you can't hear it because you're in the stands. But like if we're sitting this close to each other and we're talking on the field, we'd have to yell as loud as we can, and you probably still can't hear it. That's how loud the stadium is. The other thing is they do this thing. They have a song they play called "Inner Sandman." You know when that's how you run out. But is that like when they start playing it, their whole stadium starts jumping, and it's like it's so many people jumping, but like not in unison. It makes like a wave like pattern, and like it kind of disorients you when you run out. So playing at Virginia Tech is up there in my experiences. Um, Playing at Notre Dame, I played at Notre Dame was like the first game I started on anything. I started on like kickoff and kick return or punt return. I started on some random stuff I don't remember. But that one was hype because my first start is at Notre Dame. You know, it's like a historic stadium. It's sold out We ended up winning the game, which was crazy. But I'm on the opening kickoff, and like I don't know if it's because of my nerves. I had like so much adrenaline pumping. I was like on like the pre-workout stuff to get the heart beating, but like everything was firing so much. When everybody started screaming before the kickoff, I swear my vision was shaking. It was like it felt like my vision was vibrating. So that was like my little great experience. And then we played against my other two one. I played against Johnny Manziel in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. That dude, that's when he was Johnny Football. Yeah, we should have won that game, but we was up 21. They ended up coming back. It was crazy. The same year we ended up playing against Jameis Winston in the ACC championship. That's the year that Florida State was beating everybody by 40. We held, I think even though it's like a consolation prize, we had like we held them to like, we had the smallest amount of gap in points that they had the whole year. But at the end of the day, they beat the hell out of us. But that's what I'm saying. Was like it's just all these experiences that just kept stacking. And then I got to play against Lamar Jackson in Louisville. Like when he was still at Louisville, we went to Louisville and played against Lamar Jackson. They were ranked they were ranked high. We almost beat them. Came down to my homie Breon tried to block a field goal. Bad call, but they called roughing the kicker. Gave him the first down. We were only down 7. We were about to get the ball back. It was a crazy game. But then Papa John, because it's called Papa John Stadium, he pulled his brand new Camaro into like the end zone. They had like this little runway, and he did a burnout on red tires and like put all this smoke up. And he gave the whole stadium free pizzas, so they went crazy. So it was like I'm saying, like playing college football, just all these like little experiences I got to enjoy. That's like out of this world.
So you know how, like you a God fearer, man.
I am.
So you know how like God worked, right? He gave you the opportunity to see a lot. He gave you the opportunity to get the best education that you can get in probably the world.
Right.
Because, from Duke Hospital to Duke everything.
Yeah.
Like, probably the world. But you broke your pack. So you was never going to go to the NFL, bro.
That's what.
Like, you was never going to, like, can we agree to that? Like, low-key, like you probably would have won 3 championships back-to-back at Winston-Salem State.
So the way I look at it is,
you broke your back, bro. I wasn't gonna give you to the NFL.
Well, even like if you mention that, it's so I ended up after I graduated from Duke. I had a year left of eligibility. I transferred to play at Fayetteville State, and that's where we reconnected. I don't know if I tore my. I hadn't had no injury problem, like severe injury problem, except for that separated shoulder, like in junior year. But I get down there, and I had a great first game. Second game, I've already scored. We coming out, we're probably gonna win this game. I tore my ACL. Well, I actually tore my ACL and PCL in the same play. But
bro did that.
So
he did that. Because like that pack would have been crazy, bro.
See, the way I look at it is like, football just wasn't my calling. I've been called to greater things, so that's how I rationalize it.
You get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Fayetteville State. You get a degree. Now we talking big business.
Right.
Now we talking a different banner. This how it is crazy because both y'all got the same last name.
Right.
So it's just like we're no longer talking about the beast, and we no longer talk about the hope. We're no longer talking about, the vicious side, the animal side. Now we on the doctor side.
All right.
So what's going on right now with the white coat, man?
Man, I should have. It's in the car. I should have brought it in here.
The coat in the car. The coat in the car.
Man, so I left Fayetteville State. Like I said, I always knew I wanted to be a doctor, so I did pre-med at Duke. But there's so much that goes into getting into med school. So I needed some research experience. So I actually moved back down to Durham and started working at Duke in a research lab. Did that for a year. I applied to med school to the MCAT. But a lot of people don't know, I did not do good on my first game MCAT. I did terrible. But I didn't get in. I ended up going to get my master's after that, though, because I was applying. I had a girlfriend at the time. Shout out to her. She did a lot for me, but whatever.
She was cheating on
Nah, nothing like that. So
we can't say that. We can't. We're in doctor mode. This is the doctor interview part. So whatever someone was assisting you with, God bless.
Nah, bro, it wasn't no cheating. It was a whole she just thought I left her and I didn't leave her. That's a
No,
long
I'm talking
story.
about you said she was helping you with stuff. I ain't.
Oh, that's what you mean. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but see, look, now you
yeah,
saying some stuff that I ain't supposed to know.
yeah.
I'm talking about with the work. Like,
Nah,
was she doing that work for you in middle
nah,
school? Was
for
you
my mental.
okay?
But anyway, so I ended up going to this master's program out at Meharry Medical College in Tennessee, in Nashville. It's actually the first black medical college ever.
Hmm.
So I did my master's out there, met some great people. Um, Ended up uh, doing that for a year. So I retook the test to get into medical school, and I went up a lot of points. Basically, I balled out this time, scored in like the 95th percentile.
Hmm.
So I could have went to med school there, but when you score in the 95th percentile as a black male, you can go basically anywhere you want to. So I knew that. So I took another year off, came back to Chapel Hill, did a another year of research at Chapel Hill, and just applied to schools. And I ended up applying. I mean, I applied to a bunch of schools, but I ended up getting like a bunch of offers and a bunch of like basically like every med school was like just telling me I could come for free. So I basically had like anywhere in all these med schools I applied to, basically I could win any of them. So and then so I ended up choosing MUSC in Charleston because it's Charleston.
So I know you done made your dad shed many happy tears. Like many happy tears. Like so what is it like now when you and your dad had them conversations? Like when he like, dang, you gonna be my doctor.
Yeah, I mean he definitely says things like that, but it's like my dad, he tells me he's proud of me every once in a while, but it's less like he's not really a congratulatory dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's more of a that's what you're supposed to be doing.
You know what's funny though?
What's up?
Because that's how dads are when the tough
As
love
I was
shit,
saying,
right?
that's how they are,
But
bro.
I bet you from the person at food line to the person that a janitor here, he runs his mouth about you
I'm
to
sure.
everybody.
I'm sure he did. I'm
You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah,
You hit the dude, and then now
yeah.
you're a doctor. What you feel?
I'm sure he. I'm sure
I
he
used to
does.
coach him and everything. That's my boy. Look, put him on Facebook. You know what I mean? Look, that's my boy.
And that's what's
And
that's
then
what
call you like, good, so you straight.
yeah. That's the type of stuff he's always been on. Where it's like, and that's like I think that's why I am the way I am. Where it's like it's always all right. What's next? What we pushing for next? We actually had a conversation last night where he was asking me, what's my long term like what I want out of all this, like
Started at 10 years old when he asked.
that. So we literally had that conversation last night where he's like, cause like when you become a doctor, there's a million options of things you can do. He's like, you want on your practice. He's like, what? He's like, what are you trying to do with all this? Like, where are you going? So we had a long conversation about that last. That was literally last night we had that conversation. Good convo.
So he's still pushing you.
Yeah.
He's still pushing you and dissecting your brain because he like, man,
And
this some real Frankenstein shit.
and the thing about him is, so he understood that there's a point that I hit where, as far as like mentally, I surpassed where he could help me. Whereas like, I know things that like he just doesn't know, like medicine or like being at Duke or being in my master's. Like, I chose a different path in life, so it's like he doesn't. There's not a part of like the medicine side that he can help me with, but he does a good job of meeting me where I'm at and knowing. I mean, he's known me my whole life, so knowing how to still get like the push out of me, how he can still guide, even though he doesn't know everything I'm doing or the process or the steps I have to take, he still knows what he like how to talk to me in a sense like to get me going, to get me pushed in the right direction.
Definitely, bro. So, what is the dating life for you like now?
Man,
How
dating
hard
life.
is it to date as doctor, man?
Man, dating is still waiting on my special one. Um, Long story short, it's not easier. It's like where even if you meet someone, there a lot of the people aren't, let me say, respectful of the time it takes to be a doctor. Where like man, like even before I came over here, for instance, this whole weekend I got a test on Thursday. I've been studying. When I leave here, I'm gonna go study some more after I go eat. But a lot of people in special relationships, it's hard to understand that like sometimes I just can't see you. I just can't be with you right now. There's certain things I have to get done before I can give myself the freedom to do stuff. On the other half of it, which uh, I hate to sound because I don't like I don't me, I hate talking like I'm made you or something, but it's like you gotta be careful of talking to some people who just like don't see you for you. They see you for what you can do for them. So like that's been like that's been like, I've never been in that position, so that that's been something to like try and navigate here as of recently.
Back. So, what type of person are you in a relationship? Are you a narcissist? Because now you a doctor, and now like you probably a neat freak too now. So like.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Like, I'm sure I'm sure there's people out there who think I'm a narcissist, but I'm not. So the type of person I am in a relationship where it's 100%, I am very laid back and chill, which a lot of people don't expect. Like, I'm saying, you might because you've known me for 20 years, but a lot of people, they think, doctor, I'm going to be very anal, very upfront, but it's like, that's how I am on the professional side. I get that 90% of my days. When I come home, I'm chilling, I'm killing, I'm goofy, like annoying. I like just being in my space, being ducked off, doing my own thing. But I have heard from previous exes that sometimes I can get like stuck in my ways where it's like I have a hard time seeing when I'm wrong, which I think everybody's like that, but whatever. So I'm working on it though. I'm working on it.
What's some words of wisdom, words of advice you can give to everybody out there?
In terms of what type of
like just any type of like words of wisdom.
My biggest words of wisdom by far is no matter where you come from, like no matter like where you've been, like there's a path you can take to get where you want to go, and it's more. The other one would be like when I say the path you want to take, I say that because your version of success doesn't have to look like everybody else's version of success. What I think is successful is not going to be what you think is successful, and vice versa. Where there's going to be people at every stage in your life. They 100% won't. They have a vision of how you should live your life, but the biggest thing is living it how you want to live it. Which brings me to another point. I actually just started a program here because, as you were saying, like guidance and not having people for it. So in med school, I've met a bunch of people who have how to say that. I'm in med school with people who have known each other since middle school. And it's because they had people at every step being like, all right, we're going this way, we're going this way. Most of them come from families of doctors, but it's like they have had guidance on every step of the way of where do you go now. So I'm actually starting a program. I'm gonna start at St. Paul, but it's gonna branch out to all the high schools, where essentially I meet people who are from this area who have gone on to do great things, or in any area of life, for instance, and connecting them with kids at the school because they need guidance on how to get to certain careers. And I'm not necessarily saying doctor. I mean, this goes for trade schools, lawyer, doctor, anything that anybody wants to that you can think of. I'm trying to find alumni that are willing to talk to kids who are eager to like try and find a path, just don't know how to get there. Like even if it's something like my homeboy that we were talking about earlier, Cedric. He's a barber now. I'm sure there's kids. We grew up in getting haircuts in the bathroom for $5.
Yeah.
There's kids out there who have a passion for certain things but don't know how to get there. But there's people who have had to pave the way or fight that way themselves, who can literally tell you how to get there in an easier way. Because I know my path would have been a little easier if I had that. So actually, now that you mentioned like words of wisdom, I'm actually gonna start that. That's coming soon. Y'all wait on it.
Yeah, man, Black Politics TV got my boy Kane down, bro. The same man who on everything, bro. Like, bro. I was waiting to the end to tell my funny story.
You should really tell them how we really met. That's what you.
That's why I was waiting to the end. Then we gonna end it off like this. Everybody, look, mind you, this guy is 6'4", 220 now. I am 5'6.5". Look, 142. Who was Kane always been? He was the air apostle pretty boy.
I wasn't that bad. I was not that bad.
Bro, I don't know what was going on, but you was hot, like on some, bro. And this was my everyday friend, bro.
I remember the whole story. You want me to tell the whole story?
Okay,
I remember.
I thought it was my story. You tell us.
I gotta tell the story. I got to tell this story because people don't believe. All right, so he can give you the background. What really happened? So me and Kiori, like I said, we became close real quick. We were both in green pages. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, we got close.
Yeah, it was green. Miss Pittman. No, that was Purple Squad. 6th grade. We had Miss
Myers.
Yeah.
Myers and the Tens of Glass.
Yeah.
Miss T.
Oh, and Miss T and Glass. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy. We remember those names. Yeah. Anyways, long story short, me and Kiori started a candy selling business. We was pushing candy through the school.
You and Kiana McNeil.
And we had Kiana. Then Pone was in on it. Yeah. Then I want to say we had somebody else. It was a white dude who used to live near Godwin High. Nick. I don't know if you remember Nick. You remember Nick? And Jamal Lowry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Damn, we
so
did have a
had
squad.
we had a squad. Now at the top of the squad is me and Kiori. We Batman and Robin. We right there. We ran. That's why we got in so much trouble for it. Anyways, long story short, I remember this like it was yesterday because it was crazy. Um, like I said, we on the Green Squires. Kiori had English before I had English, right? So I come into the class. Now, Kiori ain't gonna tell you that. So we had a spelling test. The dude who sat down in Kiori's seat was the dude named Daniel Harper. But Kiori had written the words to the spelling test on how to spell it on the desk. Well, Daniel snitched on it and said it's been written right here. But when it left, when it left, because me and Daniel sat right beside each other. When it left the class, everybody was like, "Oh, Kiori, it was Kane. It was Kane. Kane snitched on you." Yeah. I didn't even know. I was like, "Hey, bro, this was not me." But yeah, I remember we hotheads. So I come in the next morning, and Kiori's always been he gonna stand on his business. That's who he is. He don't care. So we in fifth grade. I had a sixth grade girlfriend and everything. Her name was Erica.
Yeah,
Erica.
Or Erica.
I cannot remember her last name, but her name Erica. Hey, I had a sixth grade girlfriend. You couldn't tell me. Yeah. I had one of those flight coats with the fur around it and everything. I came in. We always be in the gym in the morning. It's early, and Kiori walked up to me. He just walked up. Oh, you snitched? And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, bro, what you on? What you talking about? And he was like, and then so we start arguing about it. And he ain't trying to hear nothing I had to say. He wasn't hearing nothing. And mind you, it's my dog. You see, we still thick as thieves. Still my brother right here. But we arguing. He out of nowhere, so we had to get the hook in. That's my first school fight. Was my best friend. My best friend.
Bro, you just reminded me so much shit. Like we did have the whole. We had sixth grade on lock with the candy too.
Bro,
we had a team, bro.
It was some.
I'm glad that stopped though, because then we would have went into selling drugs and all.
It was so funny because when they brought us in for it, when we got in trouble, and people think I'm joking, they had it lined up where they had I guess they had caught kids with candy, and they had the candy lined up. We all got ISS for it. I was like, it was not that serious.
The candy out, it
was like a buzz. Like they laid the candy. It was like Snicker bars. I'm like, y'all doing too much right now. But yeah, that's actually how me and Kiori's first soiree.
It was crazy, bro. I'm glad that all that shit stopped, bro. But damn,
that could have went bad.
It could have went bad, bro.
Because we was moving it.
Bro, we was moving it, bro. And my mom had her food stamps and shit. So when she would ask me what I want, I asked just straight for candy. And I'm taking it back, rebusting it, all that. And then I told my other homeboy, like, hey, your mama do the same. Well, Kiana, what was Jamal one on? I'm like, your mama do the same thing. So tell her that all you want is candy. We're gonna resell it.
And what messed with me is I had that Sam's Club membership my parents did.
Yeah. I
think they would give me the whole box of it. Yeah. When I tell we was moving candy through that school.
All that shit stopped, bro. Because you got to think about what mindset we was in. I fought you because I said you were snitch. Allegations of you snitching on me. That is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm saying best friend, close.
That shit was like a real life lesson because you know what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what I went back to being a good student. I was like, damn, bro, I'm out here trying to trap candy. I'm out here, you feel me? Like, and I think it was somebody I can't remember his name. He had owed me like $1 or something for a Snicker bar, bro. One of my homeboys gave him a wedgie, he pulled his pants down in the bathroom, and everybody was laughing at him. I was like, bro, pull that nigga pants.
It was almost at a kingpin level.
Bro, it was kingpin level, bro. The sixth graders was copying from us, bro. And like you said, that's funny because they low key. That's what they're doing in a drug case. They had all I can't.
And laid out.
Yeah, y'all here selling this, yeah, man. But look at you now, bro.
Man,
look at us now, bro.
Man, life's been a blessing, man. Life's been a blessing.
You a black doctor, Robinson County, bro. He went to the same high school y'all went to. You feel me?
Man. If you want, what's crazy about that's what I didn't tell you what me and my dad's conversation was, because a lot of people around here die. They don't have to die, bro. A lot, especially with heart problems. Because I want eventually cardiologists. Well, specifically interventional cardiologists. It's a cardiologist who can do procedures. That's in the weeds. But we were talking about if I want to have a practice, work in a hospital, or just run somebody or buy someone's practice. So my overall goal after obviously I'm gonna go off and do what I do, but I am eventually coming back to this area, and I'm gonna set up one a cheap clinic because to help people with their problems. But the biggest thing is gonna be a lot about community outreach. A lot of I'm gonna be starting a lot of programs, and just like a lot of education efforts to like help people with their bodies. I actually just had a teammate and a good friend from St. Paul's died a few. I just found out he died a few weeks ago. From what I've heard, he had diabetes and didn't know he had diabetes, so he went into a diabetic coma. Rest in peace to him. But long story short, had we had some more education around here about medical things, he could have seen the signs before they got to that point. So just things of that nature, just weigh on my mind sometimes. So.
Hey man, Bruce Banner, bro. Hey,
I
look, well,
don't know if
Kane
it.
Banner.
I don't know if it's Bruce or it's David. Sometimes.
Hey, wow. Hey man, Black Positive TV, man. Who he had with us today, bro?
Man, again, you got Kiori's brother, longtime friend, the one and only Kane Banner, coming soon to a city near you.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. Keep everything on the up and up, Dr. Banner.
All right, my boy.